Oh, hi, my name is Elsa Nelson. I am from Cuba, born and raised in Cuba, came to the United States when I was 15. I have two daughters. My oldest one turned 49 yesterday, and my youngest one turned 45 a week ago. I am 72 years old, and I own a real estate company in Beverly Hills. Have owned it for 38 years. As a matter of fact, we're here in my office right now, and happy to be. So approximately a year and a half ago, I was talking to Dr. Park and Mrs. Julia Park. Julia is one of our sales associates, has been with me for many years, and she was telling me about the experience that the doctor, her husband, had with the product ReVeRs. He was having some issues with diabetes, and by using the product, the diabetes was reversed. And at that time, I was struggling with hypertension. My hypertension was quite high. I had been hospitalized a couple of times because of very high hypertension. I was already taking 3 different medications for hypertension. And so I thought, why not? I'll go check it out. So I called Dr. Lee. They told me about Terrence Lee. Dr. Park and Dr. Lee are friends from medical school, I believe. And I spoke with Dr. Lee, lovely, lovely person. And next week, I scheduled a flight to New York. Met with him. They did all the studies that they do at his office, and found out that my body's age was much higher than the 70-year-old that I was at the time. I thought I was relatively healthy, but I found out in talking to Dr. Lee that I really wasn't. When I went to see Dr. Lee, I weighed close to 160 pounds. I had never been overweight my whole life, but over the years, the pounds add on to your body and you don't even realize it. You go from size 6 to size 8 to size 10 to size 12, and that's when I said, oh, something has to be done. I don't want to have to buy size 14. So I started the program, not so much to lose weight, but to control the hypertension. I went on the ReVeRs program. I did it for 17 days in a row, where all I ate was the 3 packets a day. I thought that I wasn't going to be able to tolerate it, but I wasn't hungry. I was actually full of energy while taking the
ReVeRs?
but the actual little packets. It was actually kind of fun trying to figure out how I would take them. Sometimes I would just put them on my tongue, and sometimes I would make a tea out of it. Sometimes I would do a cold tea, sometimes I would do a hot tea. And my favorite of all of them was the soup. That was a lifesaver. I carried that soup with me to this day. I carry it in my purse all the time, because whenever I felt a little hunger or an urge to eat anything, I would just pull the soup out, the porridge, put some hot water in it, and that took care of the craving. I lost, in the 17 days, I lost close to 20 pounds. I was 160 pounds when I went to see Dr. Lee, and I was 140 at the end of the 17 days. I maintained that weight, except I just came back from a 2-week trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I put on about 5 pounds on that trip. But guess what? All I have to do is go back on the program for 4 or 5 days, and I drop it just like that. And I maintain once a week, I do one of the packets, and that is enough to maintain. The best part of it all is I am drug-free. My blood pressure went down to normal, and little by little I eliminated my blood pressure pills, and for over a year now I have not had to take one single blood pressure medication, and my energy is so much more than it was before. I've noticed my complexion has changed. I'm also using the collagen product that I got from them. Not only that, but the fear of my blood pressure going up, because it would go up all of a sudden. And so that fear is gone from my body. I ended up in the hospital twice. Just that, the fear of not having that fear of worrying about my blood pressure, carrying that blood pressure machine with me at all times, and taking my blood pressure 3 times a day like I was doing, just getting rid of all of that was well worth that trip and that program. And I will forever be grateful to Dr. Lee for getting me on the right track.